Okay, so uh, I'm Faiz. I'm your today's facilitator uh, to the session by PM Training School on Business Analysis Framework by Project Management Institute.
Got you.
Uh,
Yeah.
we will start our discussion with a brief introduction of myself about PM Training School, Project Management Institute, and obviously would request you to share your introduction as well. After
Got
that,
you.
we will have a quick look on business analysis fundamentals. What is business analysis? What does it mean, business analyst? What type of work they do? What activities they perform? We will cover many different bits during this fundamental discussion session on business analysis. We will also have a look on role of a BA, not only role of a business analyst, but how this role is emerged over the period of time. Because previously, business analyst role was not very common. Like if you think about like early 2000 or in 1990s, normally this type of role was not existed, but now all the companies are looking for the business analysts. How this evaluation happened and what were the reasons behind it. And then we will take our discussion towards PMI's framework on business analysis. Whereas this new profession is emerging, we have seen that there are very less frameworks available to you to do better, or you can say best practices of business analysis and business analysis activities. We will also have a look on PMI PBA. This is one of the certification that is offered by PMI, and we will see that how this certification looks like, how it helps the business analysts to test their skills, their knowledge, their understanding of tools and techniques within business analysis profession, so that they can carry out their work in a uh, in a best way. And then we will conclude our session with question and answer session. Firstly, an introduction. I will start with myself. I'm Faiz, as you already know, guys. Uh, my academic background is in engineering. My major was in electrical. I did my PhD in Internet of Things from the University of Auckland, and master was also in the electrical engineering. I also did a qualification in adult education and training from SIT. And the people who are joining us from New Zealand, they are well aware of Southern Institute. It is one of the polytechnic in Invercargill. I'm a professional project manager, agile certified practitioner, and professional in business analysis. And all these credentials are from PMI. PMI is one of the very renowned standard setting body from USA. It was established back in 1969, so it's almost 52 years PMI exists. They set the standards, they set the practice guides, they offer the certifications in many different domains, including project management, risk management, agile, scrum mastery, uh, program management, portfolio management, schedule management, and business analysis. PM Training School, it is a premier authorized training partner with our head office in Auckland, whereas we have our certified instructors throughout the world, in USA, in Canada, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in Australia, New Zealand, etc. So this was a brief introduction about me, our school, and Project Management Institute. And now I would request you guys just to introduce yourself, uh, your name, your current role, and what does it mean, business analysis for you at your workplace?
So shall I start first?
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Okay. Yes. My name is Arpit Jubi. I did my construction management qualification from Unitech. Uh, I'm working. I used to work as an estimator. Currently, I'm working as a project manager.
Awesome.
Uh, yeah, and that's what I'm at the moment.
And do you have like any background in business analysis?
No, I haven't done any business analysis or studies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
How-
that will, yeah, but this will be a good introduction to you to a totally different domain, something different.
Yeah, this is like Rahman Malik. I'm from Pakistan, and I am a healthcare professional currently practicing in pharmaceutical industry in the domain of quality and regulatory compliance. And
Oh.
this business analysis course will definitely help me in the coming challenges, as we are seeing that digital landscapes and science has created a humongous challenge for professionals like us in healthcare industry. Thank you.
Surely, yeah. Thanks, like, and I'm pretty sure that you will be able to relate the knowledge of business analysis or its application with your current practices. Yes, Serena.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So my name is Serena. I live in New Zealand and I work for BNZ as a business analyst for a compliance project. And I just been a business analyst for a year and a half now. So
Awesome.
yeah, looking forward to learn more about it.
Yeah, surely. And Rito. Rito, are you here? Okay. Yeah, not a problem. So let's move further and talk about some of the key offerings of PM Training School and their background. As I told you that we are a professional training institute who prepare the industries, corporates, their employees, and the professionals for various different certifications, which are very, very high in demand throughout the world, not only in New Zealand, but in rest of the world too. One of the flagship certification that we offer is PMP. PMP stands for Project Management Professional. All the project managers who are working in this domain, they really want to get this credential because this is a proof of their experience, their knowledge, and their skill in using tools and techniques to effectively manage the projects. Similarly, we offer a certification on project management for those people who doesn't have experience in project management, but they want to go in this field. Then they normally go for CAPM, Certified Associate in Project Management. We offer many other certifications like PGMP, RMP, Discipline Agile Senior Scrum Master, Agile Certified Practitioner, or Discipline Agile Scrum Master. But today, I am going to talk about the certification called PMI, Professional in Business Analysis. How many of you heard about IIBA?
I haven't heard about it.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
Yeah. So IIBA is Institute of Business Analysts. They offer one of the certification called CPAB, Certified Professional in Business Analysis. This is pretty famous certification, but as compared to PMI, IIBA is a very small institute. Their members are around 25 to 30,000 and their number is still keep on decreasing. But the day PMI basically took step and start exploring the business analysis domain, especially the business analysts who are working on the projects. Then this business analysis profession has rise up to new horizon. At the moment, PMI has more than 300 chapters in 213 countries. They have their chapters of volunteers. In New Zealand, we have a chapter called Project Management Institute New Zealand. If we talk about Pakistan, we have a chapter like PMI Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. So there are more than 300 chapters, and there are more than 1 million certified project managers who are working, who are the members of PMI. And if we talk about this particular certification, this certification was started back in 2015 by PMI. It helps project managers, the business analysts to understand the framework of business analysis, to understand that how to apply business analysis practices in a streamlined manner. Either they are business operations or they are business projects, programs, or portfolios, both in waterfall or agile settings. Most of you are well aware of agile way of working. This is a new way of managing the projects that help teams, help organizations to achieve the project objectives in an early and often manner. At the moment, there are more than 30,000 PMI, PBA credential holders. Most of them are outside New Zealand. There are very few in New Zealand. New Zealand is very new to this certification. Only 4 PMI, PBA certified credential holders are in New Zealand. Whereas if you talk about Australia, there are more than 500. If you talk about USA, there are more than 15,000 business analysts who are certified and who know that how to apply business analysis practices, business analysis tools and techniques in a streamlined manner. Any questions so far, guys? Now, let's move further. Can anybody share that? What does it mean, business analysis?
I want to say hello.
Yes.
Basically, business analysis is like you analyze the business and where the, like you have to analyze the business with profit margins where you're gonna make and how you run the business and how you perform in the next financial year. That's called analyzation of the building.
Yes, true. So one of the role of one of the work that is done under business analysis is to understand the strategic objectives of the organizations. Yes,
other could be the evaluation of bottlenecks or any hurdles in the streamline or challenges around the market segment.
Fully agreed. So each business and its operations are normally run with the help of different processes, different workflows, different projects. The role of business analyst is also to identify the bottlenecks and try to remove those bottlenecks, try to remove those components which are unnecessary, try to reduce the waste from the processes so that they should be more effective and they should be returning in the same outcome that a lengthy process is giving. Agreed. What else?
I would say translating what the business wants to what the developer can do.
Yeah, what developer can do. So in other words, they write down the requirements for the developer, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So
and value addition could be a part of the business analysis as well.
True, value addition and how to do it. Basically, if you talk about business analysis work, we can divide into 3 components. One is pre-project component, where there is no project and organization is basically working on their strategic objectives and going to launch a variety of different projects so that organization can achieve its strategic objectives. Organization can reach to the next level. I would call it pre-project phase or pre-project activities. Then when different projects, different programs are started, different investments are made by the organizations so that organizations can achieve the objectives, their strategic objectives and long-term goals so that organization can reach to their future state to their desired state, then I would call it during project. And then the last is when the project outcomes or project deliverables, they are transit to the operations. So business analysis work is done in all three phases. For example, initially when it's a pre-project phase where there is nothing, basically what business analysis analysts do, they identify the problem, they understand the problem, they identify the opportunity, because by identifying the opportunity or by understanding the problem, they can suggest something that can help the organizations to reach to the next level. We normally call it to be state, to be state, or in other words, desired state or future state of a business. So firstly, a business analyst identify the problem or opportunity, well investigate it, and write it in the form of a problem statement. Once problem statement is written, then next task for a business analyst is propose a solution, recommend a solution for that problem or for that opportunity to capture. Uh, those proposed solutions are submitted to senior management. The solutions that are submitted by business analysts and other team members, they are not from nowhere. A very thorough analysis is done, a very thorough feasibility study is done, then those solutions are written in the form of a business case. Then these business cases are submitted to senior management, the project sponsors, the director of the organizations, who basically are able to make informed decision based on those written business cases. There are a lot of steps involved while writing a business case, and we are going to talk about them soon. Based on the business cases, various investment decisions are made by the senior management, and those investment decisions result in many programs or many different projects. Once a project is launched, a project manager is normally assigned to a project. Also, not only project manager is assigned, business analysts are also assigned on those projects. As a business analyst, you might be assigned to one project, might assign more than one project. The focus of a business analyst in a project is on a product. Do you understand that there is one thing called project and there is another thing called product? Both are different from each other. Product is the output of a project. Okay. Project managers, their focus is mostly on the project and project related requirements. For example, schedule, cost, resource management, compliance, etc., etc. Whereas the focus of a business analyst is on the product. It focuses on the product, it gathers the requirements from the clients, it analyzes those requirements and then present those requirements in a form that could be added into the project scope, and the project team can work on those requirements. Once project team is working on those requirements, business analysts always keep on tracking and monitoring those requirements so that those requirements should be fulfilled by the project team. Once those requirements are fulfilled, once project is completed, then the deliverables or the solutions that is produced under a project is ready to transit to the operations. Here again, the business analyst ensure that organization is ready, operations team is ready for these project deliverables to accept and use it. On top of that, there are many other activities a business analyst do, but their focus is always ensure that whatever investment is made by the senior management or by the organization should be spent on those key deliverables for which that project is started. Because we have seen that most of the projects, they are considered fail because they were started for one purpose, but they delivered something totally different. And the solution or the product that is produced as a result of that project was of no use at all. So this is basically business analysis, and this is what business analysts do in the operations during the projects, or once the project deliverables or the product that is produced as a result of a project transit to the operations. Any question, guys?
No question for me.
No question for me.
Okay, guys. Now, let's move further and talk about product in more details. Serena, what do you think? What does it mean, a product?
Be a physical product or a service that you can build for a customer.
So basically, a product could be tangible, could be intangible, but still it is a product. Okay. Normally, a product is could be a physical product, could be a service, could be an organizational change, could be even process improvement within an organization. This is a product. And then there comes product requirements. Guys, what do you think? What does it mean, requirements or product requirements?
What the product should look like and what the product should do and should be able to do.
True.
There could be a diversification, or there could be an upgradation, or there could be a new introduction to the present product, or any other business diversification or goals concerning particular product.
So all these are different examples of product, but when we talk about product requirements, how should a product look like? What functions and features should be in that product? And what is the purpose of that product? What purpose that product should serve? In fact, when we talk about product requirements, we divide the product requirements into different types. These requirements could be business requirements, how this product will serve the business needs, how this product will serve the stakeholder needs, or we call them stakeholder requirements, and what are the functional requirements of the product. Okay, functional requirements mean features of a product, and what are the non-functional requirements. When we say non-functional requirements, basically we are talking about quality of service requirement that a product result in. For example, throughput, for example, efficiency, for example, speed or robustness, etc., etc. All these are different type of requirements that are normally catered by the business analysts. Their role is gather business requirements, stakeholder requirements, functional and non-functional requirements, and ensure that only key, important, relevant requirements are gathered, analyzed, prioritized, and then added into the project scope, so that project scope should be developed in such a way that it should achieve the organization's objectives. It should achieve those objectives for which a project is started. It should achieve those objectives which are written in the business case approved by the senior management. So these are different types of requirements. On top of that, there are some other requirements, for example, transition requirements. As a business analyst, you can also play a role in finding the transition requirements, for example, rollover requirements, training requirements, etc., etc. And as a business analyst, you need to ensure that all these requirements are fulfilled so that whatever is the outcome of a project, or in other words, the product itself, it should be properly translated to the operation. Then operation team is also ready to use the product, ready to take that product into their current operations. These are different requirements that are normally catered for by the business analysts. On the other side, if you talk about the project managers, they also have their own responsibilities. They also take care of many other type of requirements, but they are more linked with the project than the product itself. And for example, project requirement, quality requirement, etc., etc. Then there comes a term called product information. What does it mean, product information?
Basically information about the product, or what's the result of the product, what it's been made of, like ingredients and stuff like that, and what it made for example. This is called information of the product.
Yeah, agreed, Arpit. Anyone else?
Specifications, or I would say a product yield, which is available in the product.
Agreed. Specifications, normally we call them functional requirements. Anyone else? Sarina.
I would say that it should include everything that we said before. So all the requirements to be
True.
what the product is.
Yeah, I agree. So we can say that product information is basically product requirements. In fact, product information is a superset of product requirements. In product information, not only we include the product requirements, that could be business, stakeholder, functional, non-functional, transition requirements, but there could be many other things. For example, many different artifacts that are produced as a result of product requirements related activities. For example, illustration documents. Yes, please.
There could be legal and regulatory requirements associated with the product as well in this product information.
Yeah, true. So basically, when we say that these are business requirements, we put them under the category of business requirements and stakeholder requirements, because regulation authorities, governments, and compliance requirements from the governments, all these comes under stakeholder and business requirements. Here, what I'm talking about product information. Basically, product information is anything relevant with the product. They could be just product requirements, but could be even more than that. For example, when you gather the product, I normally call it illustration of a product. Illustration is a term that says that you really don't go and gather the product requirements from the stakeholders. They normally don't have ready for you. You have to go and bring that information out of them. We call it elicit the information. Okay. So all the documents, all the artifacts related to illustration of requirements, or later we use many different business analysis models. For example, scope related model, interface related model, data related models, etc., etc. All these models that we use to represent our requirements, they are also part of product information. So many different artifacts that are produced as a result of business analysis activities are called product information. Any question? Now let's move further and talk about project and product life cycles. Normally, project life cycle starts when a project is started and it finishes when a project is finished. It consists of multiple phases. Different industries, for example, if it's a telco industry, it will have different phases. If it is a construction industry, different phases, software industry, different phases, etc., etc. So each project life cycle consists of multiple phases into it. However, the product life cycle is a superset of project life cycle, because a product life cycle starts from the conception till its retirement. If you remember in the previous slide, we talked about project phases, and post-project phases. Okay, all these phases are the part of product life cycle. Starts much earlier than a project. Another important thing is a product may evolve over the period of multiple project life cycle instead of just one project. What does it mean? It means that you may have your software that you are building, for example, as a product. It may have its first version at the end of first life cycle of a project, and then you did some improvements by starting another project, version 2, version 3, so on, so forth, and you keep on developing your product and you keep on transiting it to the operations until the whole product is not retired and replaced by an other product life cycle. Any question?
Not for me.
Not for me.
Okay, let's move further. Now, when we are talking about product, projects, business operation, etc., etc., as a professional, as a business analyst, we have to work on our activities. We normally call it business analysis work. Okay, within an organization, and each organization, each industry is different from each other. So when you are working on a project, either it's in a waterfall setting or a agile setting, normally you have to complete that project with your team within some constraints, within some limitations. We call those limitations enterprise environmental factors. Enterprise environmental factors and organizational processes, they combinedly call the business environment. Business environment is the environment in which our projects exist, in which our work exists. Now let's talk about enterprise environmental factors, short name is EFs. Tahim, what do you think? What does it mean, enterprise environmental factors?
COVID, anything that can be outside or inside of the company that where we don't have any direct control over.
So these are our limitations. These are our constraints in which we have to complete our work. Either it's a project, or maybe we are working on a process to basically to design it, or a workflow to design it or improve it, etc., etc. So EFs could be internal to the organization, could be external to the organizations. Any examples of external constraints or environmental factors? Anyone?
Political limitations, environmental limitations, if you can say pistol study, any limitations where you cannot actually promote or you cannot market your product properly, or there is a regulatory requirement or litigation or etc.
Yeah, so we must distinguish the problems or issues from environmental factors. Environmental factors are more like, you can say that an environment in which our work exists. It needs not to be against us, okay? It is constrained, we have to follow that constraint, but doesn't mean that they are the problems or challenges we are facing. They may include market conditions, our competitors, their products, government, regulatory authorities, communities. Nowadays, environmental conditions. COVID is one of very important enterprise environmental factors. Similarly, there are some internal
demographics.
Yeah,
Demographics can be.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fully agree. The geography is always like plays an important role while finding the shape of your work, how you operate, and then internal environmental factors. Some example, guys.
Well, you can say technical technical capacities, training competencies, staff competencies,
True,
your working environment or your culture and corporate culture, etc., etc.
true. Infrastructure, facilities, structure, competencies, staff, human resources, other teams. All these could be part of your internal EFs. On the other side, business environment is also determined by the organizational process assets. These are the process assets normally owned by the organization, and you use these assets to carry out your work. For example, the processes, the procedures, the policies, the forms, and then repositories, the databases, the teams, their knowledge that we normally call it tacit knowledge. Okay, subject matter experts. All these are organizational process assets, and you use them to carry out your business analysis work. Any question? Okay,
Oops.
yeah, let's move further and talk more about role of a business analyst. Uh, Guys who are working as a business analysts, especially with this particular designation, what do you think, guys, about your role? How it is conceived, how it is understood by other organization members, what they think that, what business analysts they do. Serena, what do you think?
Solving problems. That's what I do usually.
Yeah, solving problems, and what are their expectations from you?
To create a solution for to create a solution that the BAU can use, and so that when we hand it over to the business, they will have a process that we designed, and that they will have all the knowledge to be able to do it by themselves. So with all the documentation needed to follow it.
True, true. So what happened is, like previously, as I was talking about in 90s or early 2000, normally business analysts, this role really doesn't exist. This role is evolved over the period of time. As the demand increase, as people start realizing that it is very, very important, the work we do should reflect the business priorities, business strategic objectives. So over the period of time, what happened is like this role is evolved. However, as this is a very new role, still organizations and the people within the organization, like managers, their expectations level, I'm talking about across different organizations. Okay, if project manager is in one organization, they know that okay, he's the one or she is the one managing the project and developing schedule, cost, etc. In another organization doing the similar work. But for business analysts, different organization, different people, still their expectations from the business analysts are still very inconsistent. They are not pretty sure that what skills, what knowledge they have, what type of work they can do. Can they write the test cases for us? Can they write the unit test for us? Can they do the exploratory testing for us, etc., etc. Okay. One of the reason is like the framework. The framework really doesn't exist, or if it exists, most of the business analysts, they are not well aware that what is involved in that streamlined way of working. Okay, so that was like some misconceptions about business analysts. And sometimes when business analysts are working on projects, there comes a time where the role of business analyst, the responsibilities of a business analyst overlap with the responsibilities of project managers. where there could be redundancies, where there could be redundancies of work. I'm talking about redundancy of work, where there could be some work that is not done by either BA or by the PM, because both were thinking that, oh no, it's not my work, it's someone else's work, etc., etc. And also, sometimes it is also confusing for the people that what should be the designation for the work a business analysis requires. For example, what would be the designation who is making some data models? What would be the designation who are developing some scope analysis models, or process analysis models, or interface models, etc., etc. In fact, it really doesn't make any difference. Whatever is the designation, if you are doing business analysis work, you are keeping an eye that the work that is being done is delivering the business value or not. The product has contained the features that are approved or not. It's a work of a business analyst. You could be called as a strategic business analyst, data analyst, process analyst, systems analyst, enterprise and business architect, or portfolio program or project manager. I'm talking about when they are gathering the requirements, the project managers, or even you could be called as a operational analyst. It really doesn't make any difference as long as you are ensuring that requirements are being catered in a work in a project. Evolution of the role. What happened is like, especially if you talk about the software industry, developers are fantastic in writing the code, but they really don't have those T-shaped skills. They really don't have that business knowledge, or in fact, they really don't want to get that knowledge too. And they are not interested in communication and talking with the business people. So what happens is like there is always a gulf of expectation between the business people and the developers. Similarly, when this work of business analysis is given to the project managers always have, like you can say, conflict to keep a balance between the work of a project and product, the requirements of a project and a product. Okay, they might compromise on the product requirements, for example, stakeholder requirements in the product. They may compromise it because of schedule or cost requirements, etc. Similarly, quality assurance people, their focus is more on like writing the tests and assuring the quality of the product deliverables. Their focus is not on the requirements, the product requirements that were initially approved by the organization. That are the requirements of the stakeholders. Similarly, programmer analysts, system analysts, they are fantastic in writing the specs, in writing the test cases, etc., etc. They have a lot of technical experience, but they might not have a good understanding of business and their requirements that must be part of any product or solution requirements. Any question?
No, so far.
So that's why business analysts, they become more and more popular. They become more and more in high demand. In fact, I was talking with one of the recruiter, and according to her, like the demand of these are even more than the project managers. And then there comes business analyst sphere of influence. That talks about that with whom business analysts work. What is the working relationship of business analysts? We can divide into 4 major categories: management, product and project teams, external stakeholders, and business stakeholders. And various examples are given in this particular slide. Also, to become an effective business analyst, you should have some core skills determined by the experts in the industry. We divided these core skills, call it self-mastery, into 6 uh, major categories: leadership skills, communication skills, knowledge, expert judgment, analytical skills, and personal skills. And then under each major categories, we identified micro level skills. For example, if you talk about personal skills, adaptability, ethics, learning, multitasking, objectivity, self-awareness, time management, and work ethics are few examples of personal skills for a business analyst to work in an effective manner within an organization or teams. Any question till here? PMI's framework on business analysis. As I told you that PMI started developing the standard for business analysis back in 2015. What PMI does, they divided the business analysis activities, or they call it processes, okay, into 6 different groups. Always think about process as an activity, okay, business analysis activities. The first group of activities are defining and aligning process groups. These are the activities business analysts do when they are defining the requirements, defining the needs, defining the business cases, uh, and aligning them with the organization's objective. And then second is initiating activities. Initiate to start a work, initiate to start a project or a program or even the whole portfolio. Planning activities, planning related to business analysis work, for example, planning for illustration, planning for analysis, planning for tracking and monitoring, planning for solution evaluation, so on and so forth. Executing activities where basically PAs are working as a part of team, gathering requirements, analyzing them, converting into specifications, verifying the requirements, validating the requirements, prioritizing them, converting them into the project scope, so on and so forth. And then monitoring and controlling activities or process group. These are the activities related to tracking of requirements, if they are being fulfilled or not. Okay. If they are aligned with the strategic objectives or not, if they are aligned with the test cases or not, the development code or not, etc., etc. And the releasing process group, this is when the deliverables are released to the operations. Also, PMI determined that there are few knowledge areas, in fact, the same 6 knowledge areas, same number, 6 knowledge areas. A business analyst should have a good grip at. Those knowledge areas include need assessment, okay, how to assess the need for an organization. It has many different things into it. How to engage the stakeholders, remember, for the product. How to gather the requirements, how to analyze the requirements, how to trace and monitor the requirements and business analysis work, and how to evaluate the solution to see that the benefits for which the solution is developed are being achieved or not. So this work, how it is interconnected with each other, how these knowledge areas are interconnected with each other is shown in this particular slide. In the next slide, that is our last slide, I will give a very brief overview of PMI framework for the business analysis, what work they do. A business analyst normally when working in an organization is involved in identifying a problem or opportunity, because by solving a problem, organization get benefited. By capturing an opportunity, organization achieve strategic objectives. Once a problem or opportunity is identified, then before recommending any solution, business analysts, they assess the current state of the organization. It is called as is state, mean business analysts check that what are the current objectives of an organization, this year objectives, okay? Or in other words, what are the current capabilities of an organization? Can they resolve this problem or can capture this opportunity? It also checks the future state of an organization or future objective of an organization, maybe 6 months or 1 year objective or three years long goals. Okay. And then compare both by doing the gap analysis. When gap analysis is done, it gives you a good knowledge to the business analysts to suggest some options and recommend them to resolve this problem or opportunity. Normally, business analysts suggest more than one option to choose from. Once options are given, the next step is facilitate product roadmap. Mean, if 4 options are given here and out of 4 options, one is selected, now how this option should be executed, then normally a project roadmap is given, or not project, product roadmap is given. That is a high level overview that, okay, how this option will be implemented and will give us benefit. Along the way, feasibility analysis is also done, a detailed feasibility analysis, technological analysis, financial analysis, too many different things. Everything what a business analyst or team of business analysts did here, it combines together to result in a business case, a proper business case. Okay, this business case helps the organizations to make the investment decisions. Based on those investment decisions, normally different projects, different initiatives are taken. Another task for a business analyst is, especially if you talk about this process group, defining and aligning, identify the stakeholders, business stakeholders, community stakeholders, internal and external stakeholders. As a part of defining and aligning activities, a business analyst, once a solution is developed, also evaluate the solution is performing as per the organization need or not. Again, aligning with the organization's objectives. Then there comes initiating activities. In initiating activities, business analysts work with the senior managers and project managers, and they develop a project charter. Project charter is nothing but the birth certificate of a project, mean a project is started. Along with this, once project is started and BA is part of it, they do planning activities. Planning include stakeholders analysis, stakeholder engagement and communication approach, business analysis planning, everything related to planning, illustration approach or illustration planning, traceability and monitoring planning, analysis planning, solution evaluation planning. All the planning, we call it business analysis plan or business analysis work plan. Okay, they both are different, but all the planning, all the plans are developed here. Then execution is done. You get ready for the illustration or requirements gathering. You gather the requirements, you confirm the requirements and their results. You create and analyze model, 100 of models could be used. You define and elaborate the requirements. You define the acceptance criteria for the requirements. You verify requirements, validate requirements, prioritize requirements, identify and analyze product risk, and also help the design team to assess the product design options. That is the work you do on any given project or task. You also determine, so this is next step, monitoring and controlling. You establish the relationship between the requirements, how they are depending on each other, how they are related with the business objectives, how they are related with the test cases, unit tests, etc. You also take part in selection and approval of the requirements. You work with the organization to prepare them for transition to the future state. When product is ready, you evaluate the, for example, when quality assurance testing is done, then you confirm that, okay, if acceptance results are appropriate or not, if defects are removed or not. Also, you keep on managing stakeholder engagement and their communication. You also analyze your own performance, called assess business analysis performance, and you take care of any changes in the requirements or other product information. You do all those activities during monitoring and controlling. And at the time of releasing, you obtain solution acceptance for the release to the operations. So these are different processes. In fact, 34 different processes or 34 different type of activities normally a business analyst do. I really cannot go in depth of it. The reason is time is short. It's too late. You want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep too. So a very brief introduction, but this is a very, very thorough domain. Once you will go for PMI-PPA certification, if you want, then you will have a very in-depth knowledge of what is this work, how this work is done, what type of inputs we consider, what tools and techniques are applied, and what are the outputs of each activity. Any question here?
Not for me. Thank you.
Okay, a quick look on the certification. I will go quickly through it. This is one of the most recognized certification in business analysis called PMI-PPA. It highlights your expertise in business analysis. Very few business analysts who are PMI-PPA qualified in New Zealand. Only 4, as I mentioned. Now recently, Meta and Mega and few other companies, they start engaging people and getting them trained for the certification. It is a real life test or real life proof of your business analysis knowledge and experience. It helps you to basically confirm that you know that how to align the project objectives or the outcomes of the operation with the organization's objectives. It gives you a good skill to how to gather the requirements, how to analyze the requirements, because on any project, the requirements are one of the most important reasons if they are inaccurate for the project failure. It will help you to achieve new horizons in the domain of business analysis, like a business analysis manager or senior business analysts, because the demand is ever increasing for the business analysts. There are some requirements. It's not for everyone. Someone who has experience of around 3 years, they are only able to get this certification. And there are 5 different domains for which, if you go for PMI PPA, for which your exam would be conducted. Need assessment, planning, analysis that include both elicitation and analysis, traceability and monitoring, and solution evaluation. You can study this course with us. If you want to study with us, feel free to contact me. We provide all the learning support for you to get this certification. You already are connected with me over LinkedIn. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions related to this certification. It's scheduled because our next class is starting in March the 8th. So if you are interested, just feel free to ask me and I will share the details.
Thank you.
So if you guys have any question, just feel free to ask.
Not for now, but I'll text you on LinkedIn if I come up with any questions. Thanks.
Sure, Christina. Anyone else? Okay, guys, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Have a good night. Thanks.
You too.
A good night. See ya. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks.